Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing Nuke.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig into it and cut through the bullshit here. Errol Spence Jr.'s hype train has officially pulled into the station. All these fanboy, new media, fake media channels are coming out here, hyping up all their fanboys on social media, in the comment section, constantly blowing up Errol Spence Jr. Right now, the PBC on Fox just pretty much announced all their fights for this upcoming year, or at least for the good part of the first year. And it's very interesting what you see here. Basically, what's going on is they have Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia. And so you see all these memes and things showing how big Errol Spence Jr. is and how, a good big man will beat a small little man and a good small little man. Now, typically that's the case. A good big man probably would always prevail over a good small little man because they're both good, and the bigger guy would have too many advantages and destroys the smaller guy. That is pretty much 99.99% correct. But in this case, that is not correct, and I'll tell you why. Is because Errol Spence Jr. is not a good big man. He is not. And this is a fundamental flaw that you have with fanboys who just thinks that because he has a good punch and because he's a big size that he's an elite level fighter. So I just like to kind of use Triple G as an analogy. Now, Triple G is a proven elite level fighter, so I don't want anyone to take this out of context, but look at it like this. Triple G does not have multiple dimensions to his game as compared to a Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez can switch a lot of different styles. Triple G is pretty good at one particular thing. Errol Spence Jr. cannot cut the ring off like a Triple G. He has never proven that. Errol Spence Jr. has not proven that he has a chin to take the shots to Triple G. He's never proven that. So let's just be clear that these aren't the same type of fighters, but I'm saying in more of a one-dimensional type of fighting style is what we have with a Errol Spence Jr. He's not able to adjust. We've never seen that from him. We've seen Errol Spence Jr. rocked against Kell Brook. We've seen him have trouble and struggle against a Kell Brook. A Kell Brook who came forward, a Kell Brook who was easy to hit. We've seen Errol Spence Jr. have success against a Lamont Peterson who came forward, a Lamont Peterson who was easy to hit. Then you see Errol Spence Jr. hype goes up further and further against an Carlos Ocampo, who's a domestic level Mexican fighter who's never proven anything, who's never even fought outside of Mexico except the one fight with Errol Spence, and you could tell that he was flawed by the way he stepped into the ring and came right to Errol Spence thinking that he could box him head on. Fundamental flaws is what people see, and when you look at the errors in Errol Spence Jr. He's never fought a fighter who can move, who can box, who has the level of skill that Mikey Garcia has. Mikey Garcia is a 4-division world champion, and people only want to look at size. Look at, Floyd Mayweather Jr. He was pretty much the smaller guy in the vast majority of his fights, but against a guy like Marcos El Chino Maidana, Marcos Maidana did give him trouble the first fight. The second fight, he gave him no trouble, and the reason for that is Floyd Mayweather's skill set was too much for Marcos Maidana to overcome, and that will be the same thing with Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. will be exposed. The reason why Mikey Garcia, a guy from 135 pounds, is chasing a guy who's basically could be a middleweight, the reason why he's chasing Errol Spence Jr. is because he sees the flaws that every pure boxing guy sees. Now, you hear the same tired welterweights saying the same tired things. You see a Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, guys having doubts because Errol Spence Jr. is so big or because he's been so hyped. You have to understand that hype plays a factor in everything. People are believing these biased media channels saying, well, he's good, he looks the part, but who has he fought? When has he proven it? What has he showed? That's what I'm saying. I'm only going on facts, and the fact is Errol Spence Jr. has never fought an elite competitor. The fact is Mikey Garcia, I found an interesting comment where people were saying, well, it's going to be different when Mikey Garcia steps into the ring. He's going to find out that, Errol Spence Jr. is not Adrian Broner or, Robert Easter Jr. No fucking shit. Styles make fights, and every style is different. If you not noticed that Mikey Garcia did not fight Adrian Broner the same way he fought Robert Easter Jr., because Robert Easter Jr. had a much bigger size advantage and reach advantage than Mikey Garcia. It took Mikey Garcia a couple rounds to truly figure figure that out. That's the difference with elite level fighters. They don't go in with the same mentality every fucking fight, because every fight is different. Every fighter has different skill sets. So Errol Spence Jr. has a completely different skill set than any of these guys, and his main advantage is his size and his power. That's what he has. He does not have elite one-punch knockout power. He knocks guys out through an accumulation of punches. Yeah, he knocked out Carlos Ocampo with the one punch. You know why? Because Carlos Ocampo is a fucking bum. But when you see him fight a Lamont Peterson, it took him 7 fucking rounds. Kell Brook took him the majority of the fight to get him out of there. So, and this was a damaged Kell Brook coming off a loss. You know, I hear people saying, well, you know, Mikey Garcia is no Kell Brook. He couldn't compete with Kell Brook. First of all, who the fuck is Kell Brook fought? Let's just be 100% honest. Who the fuck is Kell Brook fought? Kell Brook fights in one style as well. That's why Kell Brook, Errol Spence Jr. were tailor-made for each other, because they both come forward, because they both lack fundamental head movement. When you see a Mikey Garcia, he's much more defensive when he needs to be. But you see, well, I see Mikey Garcia get hit a lot, but you have to understand that Mikey Garcia had nothing to fear against a Robert Easter or an Adrian Broner. So yeah, he'd absorb easier shots because they meant nothing, because he can walk these guys down, because he can walk into those shots. That's the difference with Mikey Garcia. Too many Errol Spence Jr. fanboys and fanboy channels are masquerading as boxing experts, and they're only fanboys. They only see size that Errol Spence Jr. has, and Errol Spence Jr. is implying that he's the baddest motherfucker on the planet. But here's the thing, when he steps in the ring with Mikey Garcia, he better fucking prove it, because we've never seen Errol Spence Jr. in a fight against an elite level fighter and a guy who can give it to him as well as he can give it to him. We've never seen that from Errol Spence Jr. You've seen Errol Spence Jr. rocked. You've seen Errol Spence Jr. hold on to Kell Brook. You've seen Errol Spence Jr. fight the same one-dimensional style fight after fight after fight. You've seen his head get cleanly hit over and over and over. The reason why Mikey Garcia saw something in the Lamont Peterson fight is the same fucking thing I saw. If you rewatch that fight again, you'll see how many times Lamont Peterson cleanly clocked him on the fucking chin. The thing about Errol Spence Jr. when he fought Lamont Peterson, and the reason why Mikey knows he can beat him, is because Mikey's going to avoid punishment, and he's going to sit and hit Errol Spence Jr. on his chin over and over and over. The same thing Lamont Peterson did, except with movement, except with boxing style and ability. Lamont Peterson isn't half the fighter that Mikey Garcia is. Lamont Peterson stood there and tried to go toe-to-toe with one of the strongest fighters in his division, which made no fucking sense. Only an idiot would do that, which proves the type of guy that Lamont Peterson was. If you ask me, it almost looked like he went in there with the wrong game plan on purpose. But, you know, that's just me, because a true boxing brain will say, you box this guy, you move, you use lateral movement, head movement. You don't turtle shell and walk right into punches. But he was hitting Errol Spence Jr. cleanly on the chin. It just wasn't effective because he doesn't have the fucking power. Yes, Errol Spence Jr. is bigger than Mikey Garcia. I do see the size difference, but here's a lot of things that people don't tend to realize. The height difference isn't massive. It is not massive. The reach difference isn't massive. And Mikey Garcia had to overcome a lot more against a Robert Easter Jr. The thing about this Errol Spence Jr. is he came to that press conference blown up. He has to drain himself to get down to 147. When he steps in the ring with Mikey Garcia, he will not be the size he is today. Understand that Errol Spence Jr. has a lack of basic focus. You have to understand that a guy who gets blown up between training camps and the guy who's always in shape, Mikey Garcia is in fighting shape right now. According to ES News and Robert Garcia, they've been preparing for this for months, and Mikey Garcia stays in consummate shape. He's a consummate professional. He's in shape right now. Errol Spence Jr. is not. He's ready for war. He's ready to build up his body, and he has months before he has to face Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is going to spend his entire time trying to melt down the pounds instead of preparing adequately and properly for Mikey Garcia. His sparring partners are going to be guys like Jermell Charlo, the same fucking limited fighter that he's had as a sparring partner this whole time. Errol Spence Jr. doesn't know what the fuck he's getting into. Don't believe the hype. IBFP.